Welcome, chat. Sorry about my stream. It's just that I was crying over the fact that I lost my smartphone.
I'm a medieval man. I'm a medieval man. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Why do you keep touching me? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Why do you keep touching me? Why do you keep touching me? In the age of chaos, in the age of chaos, in the age of chaos, two factions battle for dominance. In the age of chaos, in the age of chaos, in the age of chaos, two factions battle for dominance. Welcome to the world of Warcraft.
Iblo. Skip. That's how you spell it. Hello. Oh, right. I'm just playing Elder Scrolls Blades right now, just to try and relax. See if I can... I'm just overall very disappointed with life. I can't use my VTuber rig without lagging. I don't have any money. And, yeah. And I'm afraid of death, too, so... There's just a lot of things piling in all at once. But I'm pretty sure there's like a God out there, and I'm pretty sure there's a heaven, so there's not much to worry about. By the way, Mary, did you ever play Elder Scrolls Blades? It's actually a pretty good mobile game, and especially for the Switch. It's a decent time killer. Oh, you haven't? Be right back, chat. I'm just gonna grab some water. Anyway, chats. Oh, you did? Thank you. Let me check it out. Let me see. How many coffees did you send? Also, chat, I would really like you to tell me what you think about this current design. This is what the model is going to look like. I'm sorry I haven't updated you guys on the whole VR game, especially since I was going to spend that money on the model. I'm about to. I'm just trying to make like a final design for the character here, the character you're going to play as, which is this sexy little femboy. Oh wow, thank you. That's a lot. I definitely can use those. So yeah, wow, that's nice. Ugh, crap. I'm gonna try and... Oh no, there's no limits, right? No, it's really just no limits. As much as you can afford, you know, as much as you can tolerate. So yeah, I guess I owe you 8 drawings now. That's fine. I'll just do them slowly over time, so I'll just keep count. Anyway, thank you so much. That really does help a lot. Anyway, let me just Ko-fi.com/ honestly, I mean, the thing is, it's just that basically it's a lot harder for me to like switch between stream and all that. Although, yeah, I mean, you know what? DM me. I think that's a lot better because I can actually come back to this. Chat usually erases once I'm done with the stream, so yeah, go ahead, DM me all the ideas you want. Right, there we go. Alright, hold on chat, I'm just going to try and pin the comments in case new chat does it, so yeah, give me a moment. Pin that, there we go. Alright chat, thank you for your patience. I'm just gonna try and relax a little bit with Elder Scrolls Blades. And yeah, and then I'll continue to draw, so apologies if I do delay, but yeah. It's just gonna be for a few minutes, so don't worry about it. In the meantime, you can still chat with me and I can still respond for a bit, so, you know, have fun. I'm just recovering from all that emotional breakdown of having to lose my smartphone. And hopefully you can hear the game from here. So yeah, that's basically Elder Scrolls Blades. The best way I can describe it would probably be that it's a lot like... it's basically like a hybrid between Skyrim and Oblivion. And it has some of the typical mobile things going on, so like, you have to be at least into mobile games to really like this game. Oh crap. Oh well. This is a pretty hard level, I guess. Got killed by, ironically, goblins. Oh fuck, there's a troll. Don't worry, I'll start soon, just give me a moment. Got a treasure box here. Goblin on goblin violence. Yeah. What's that? Let's see if the chat box actually does work. Yeah, it doesn't seem to show up for some reason. That's weird. Chat, do you ever see any of, For some reason chat doesn't seem to show up where it should be. Maybe I should refresh it. Let's test this out with an OO. Yeah, it doesn't seem to show up for some reason. That's so weird though. But yeah, I'm gonna have to just see if I can recreate this. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and log in here and try and add some things here. For some reason it doesn't want to show up. Maybe it's because I logged out or something. Nice, I got an axe. Anyway. Alright. Let's see, all agents. Alright, I'm just gonna try and troubleshoot the chat for a bit, because it doesn't seem rewarding when you guys chat and it doesn't show up there, so I'm gonna try and fix that. Shit. Nice. Shit. Keep getting killed by the gobos. Why is it that it doesn't seem to show up? What the hell? Ah, great. Come on. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be really wanting to work anymore. I don't know what's up. God damn it. There's always something to cause me a lot of trouble. Alright, let me see if I can at least log into my... See if the widget's too short this time. Finally. Come on, really? Not really working? Yeah, it seems like they have some problems here, so that's probably why it's not working, so I'm not going to bother. Let's see if I can find another shot before we delay. Settings icon. Alright, I think I can get chat on OBS alone, so let's see here. Channel. View docs. Custom browser docs. Twitch chat. Alright, give me a sec. Jesus, this is a lot more complicated. just not loading for some reason. What the hell? Anyway. Finally. Hello, Connie. How's it going? Alright, I think I have chat nearly fixed. Alright, let's test this and see if it works. I mean, I can't see this on stream for some reason. It doesn't seem to show up. Really? Well, I mean, I'm talking about the chat that actually appears on the screen. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just deal with it and move on. I'm sorry I haven't drawn in a while. Oh, finally! It works! It's alive! It's alive! The chat is alive!
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! You too. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. Oh, in the name of God. Now I know what it feels like to be God. Oh.
I think that was appropriate. Hopefully it's so small that I don't get a copyright strike, but place your bets, I guess.
Hey guys, it's Holly and welcome to the UK. I'm currently staying with my grandparents.
Why do you keep touching me? In the age of chaos, in the age of chaos, in the age of chaos, two factions battle for dominance. In the age of chaos, in the age of
Videos and published by Electronic Arts for Windows PCs in 2001, and later for Mac OS in 2002. And in the early 2000s PC gaming world, few titles were more hyped up than this one, being the first game from the newly formed Lionhead Studios. Not only was Black and White the debut title from the ex-Bullfrog developers since they'd gone independent, but it had been in the works for over 3 years by the time it came out. Back then, that was an unusually long development cycle, and originally Lionhead expected to have it done by Q4 of 1999. But release estimates came and went, excitement grew and dwindled, and every 6 months or so the cycle would repeat with some new interview promoting the project and its larger-than-life designer Peter Molyneux. Make no mistake, the game looked insanely cool all the way from its announcement in 1998 to its eventual release in 2001. Teaser footage made it seem like a successor to Bullfrog classics like Populous and Dungeon Keeper. Its graphical detail was unprecedented at the time, and the promise of cutting-edge artificial intelligence with trainable creatures sounded amazing. Then it came out as such a buggy mess that some folks thought they might have shipped a beta version instead of the finished game, and when it did work, some still felt it didn't meet their lofty expectations despite favorable reviews in the gaming press. That being said though, I find Black and White more than intriguing enough to revisit. It's just filled with so many unusual choices. Even the box is a unique choice, with dual gatefold covers showing off the white and black moral paths the game was known for. It's a cliche at this point considering how many games have gone down this route, with evil choices adding horns and spikes to everything, and good choices means butterflies and rainbows. But yeah, it was a neat idea at the time, enough to make me grab a copy in the early 2000s. Opening up the box, you got the game itself on CD-ROM inside this minimally decorated cardboard sleeve, a product registration card, and this 16-page installation guide covering the excitement of troubleshooting everything from Windows 95 to Millennium Edition. Finally, there's the manual, printed appropriately enough in black and white. It covers a lot of ground, with 52 pages worth of densely packed information throwing everything at you all at once. Due to the way the campaign is structured, I recommend using this as more of a reference guide after you've started playing. Black and White begins with a white and black logo, followed by a black and white logo, and culminating in what amounts to a teaser for Black and White itself. No real information or lore is provided, just a minute and a half of random gameplay footage. And it only plays the first time you start the game too, making its inclusion that much more questionable. Once it's done showing off its press kit sizzle reel, it's time to give yourself a name and choose a pre-made symbol, the latter of which will become the defining imagery of your religion. Once you've established your impending godhood, a short cutscene plays, setting up the world of Eden and your place within it. By which I mean you have no place at all until the precise moment that you do.
A land of innocence has no need for gods. Until fate intervenes.
Keep away from the water!
Stop!
When people pray, a god is always born.
Help! Someone help
our
us!
child!
We call to
Please,
the
hear
heavens!
us!
Able to change eternity. That god is you.
Yeah, this intro still really gets me in the mood for some god gaming. That awesome music by Russell Shaw and trippy cosmic imagery, dude, something about it just gives me chills.
Are you a blessing or a curse? Good or evil? Be what you will, you are destiny.
You saved our boy! Thank you! Thank you for your mercy!
We praise you!
Greetings, we're your conscience. Good and evil. Yin and yang. Black and white. As part of you, we'll guide you through this world. How to move? Let's see. You move your hand in the direction you want to travel like this.
And then just like that, it's a clunky old computer game. Yeah, get ready for tons of mandatory hand-holding and unskippable tutorials, which, granted, at the time were still a fresh idea, and if you've never played before, it's a solid tutorial, especially since the manual leaves something to be desired in explaining things clearly. However, if you have played before and simply want to start a new game, then this tutorial is a real slog, and the option to skip it would have been nice. Fans eventually patched this whole section out themselves, but more on that later. For now, though, let's follow along and see how vanilla Black and White works, because even to this day, I've never played anything quite like it.
You move the hand to the side of the screen until the rotate arrow appears like this. You hold down the move button. Then you move the hand in a circular motion to rotate around and see things from a different angle.
So yeah, the basic idea is that you play a supernatural deity represented by a hand floating around the landscape. You've got two advisors representing the good and evil sides of your conscience, and who keep you informed of your godly options whenever big notable choices pop up. And there are a number of nearby human villagers that have started believing in your existence, so your overarching goal is to increase their belief in you by manipulating the world using your god hand and a selection of miracles. But the controls are a thing. Black and White lacks a traditional user interface, and alternatively went with a mouse-driven layer of abstraction. Instead of windows, icons, and drop-down menus, you've got this floating hand of God and the world around it. Everything is designed to be controlled using your hand and a combination of mouse movements, audio and video cues, and context-sensitive objects. Left mouse button moves around the map, right mouse button interacts with things, and combining the two buttons controls the camera. That is, if you're using a mouse at all. Essential Reality teamed up with Lionhead to provide native P5 glove support in 2002, stating it was the perfect gaming platform to demonstrate the power and technical achievement of the new P5T technology. If you've seen my Oddware episode all about this device, I'm sure you'll react to that statement with a fair bit of skepticism. As with most P5 experiences, it's not that it doesn't work at all, it's that it works just enough to become more frustrating than if you weren't using it to begin with. Obviously, seeing as the whole game is played with a virtual hand, it makes some sense to implement a virtual hand controller, and as a result, it does function better than other P5 demonstrations I showed on Oddware, but come on now! This game is weird enough on its own, no need to throw an infrared finger mouse into the mix.
Faith in you is falling like a stone.
You don't say. Regardless of wonky glove controllers though, Lionhead was deeply committed to the whole disembodied god hand idea in Black and White, making sure players rarely did anything other than click and drag, almost never having to touch the keyboard. Not that I recommend playing like that, since there's a bunch of shortcuts that are only accessible through the keyboard, many of which the tutorial never mentions. For example, you're told that saving and loading the game occurs inside your temple, so you'd navigate to the building in world, right-click it to go inside, enter the main central room, navigate to the save room on the right, then click on a picture to zoom into it, type in a title to save your game, then exit the save room and leave the temple to return to the game. Or you could just press Ctrl S on the keyboard and quick save at any time. I know which method I prefer. There's tons of stuff like this that seems needlessly cumbersome, implemented under the guise of immersion and innovation. But then you dig a little deeper and it turns out there's actually...
Yeah, basically that whole idea of obtuseness under the pretense of immersion, I think that's something that you can describe Nintendo perfectly with that. So yeah, it's definitely an issue that I've been having with Nintendo. It's like, sure, it's good to innovate, but sometimes it gets overbearing.
An easier and more efficient way of doing things, like how there are unseen controls to slow down and speed up time by pressing Alt 1 and 2 on the keyboard, or how you can forgo the bizarre screen edge camera controls if you simply use a mouse with a clickable wheel. Anyway, all that to say that Black and White is often simpler to play than it appears at first glance, and thank goodness, because what's here is immediately captivating. At least to me as a fan of the god game and city builder subgenres. Despite what Lionhead said in the marketing, Black and White is less of a role-playing game and more of a real-time strategy game with an emphasis on resource management and puzzle solving.
We're not keen on sinking, so we're all sitting here thinking, 'cause we built it too big and we've run out of wood. Idly, we simply can't leave till we get some more wood.
Each of the 5 main maps in the campaign contain their own sets of challenges to complete, signified by golden scrolls indicating story objectives, and silver scrolls providing side quests. But the core gameplay revolves around accumulating the resources of food, wood, belief, and villagers. Food and wood are pretty self-explanatory, acquired by villagers or by picking them up yourself. Belief is gained by performing miraculous actions within the view of villagers, and naturally, villagers themselves are acquired by reproduction for the most part, as well as converting them away from rival gods to believe in you instead. Overall, it's a pretty laid-back experience, lording over the land as your people go about their day working, dancing, worshipping, screwing, building, eating, and complaining. It's nice. Too bad there's a bunch of nonsense constantly screwing things up. For one thing, villagers often have questionable priorities, so if you don't want them wandering around doing whatever, generate some disciples by dropping people down near specific objects and structures.
Disciple Forester.
This is how you create dedicated builders, farmers, woodcutters, fishermen, craftsmen, and even breeders, all doing little more than eat, sleep, and work. This is also one method of increasing your influence by creating missionaries and traders to nearby villages. Influence is shown by these wavy colored borders when you zoom out, and there's a whole stack of variables affecting how quickly and how far it spreads. And even then, it's not so much a hard border as it is a loose indicator of your power. Like, you can still reach beyond your own influence to manipulate people and objects outside of your own lands, but only for a limited time. And then you have to go back and try again to refresh your hand. It's a bizarre mechanic at first, where you're constantly moving your god hand in and out of rival territory, but you get used to it. Tossing rocks and trees and things from a distance is also an option, as well as performing miracles. With good-natured miracles like generating food in forests, and offensive ones like tossing out fireballs and lightning. Another way to influence villagers is the creature, a large animal with divine powers that you'll choose while playing the first tutorial island. There are 3 creatures on offer by default, that being the ape, the cow, and the tiger. However, there are 8 more creatures out there in the world to be unlocked, as well as 4 DLC creatures. 2001, when downloadable content came in the form of self-extracting executables found on the developer's website, for free even. My, how things change. Anyway, creatures. They're big and powerful, but not too big and powerful, at least not yet. Each one has to be fed, exercised, trained, played with, and scolded in order to increase their capabilities and size. And as with everything else in the game, this means using your god hand, so you can hand them food, bring them toys, rub them nicely when they do something you want, or give them a good smacking if they do something you don't. Seems harsh, but it's the only way to get them to learn to not take unholy craps in the middle of town, or pick up and eat random worshippers, or whatever else you deem unsuitable. You can also train creatures using leashes, making sure that they only hang out around certain areas and witness you doing certain things, because yeah, they learn by exposure to your godly activities, eventually figuring out how to perform many of the same actions and miracles. Creatures also carry over into skirmish mode too, so you're not limited to training them during the campaign maps. There are 3 of these skirmish maps that you can enter at any time, where you'll compete with between 1 to 3 AI gods, or the same number of human players over a LAN or the internet. At least before EA shut down the online servers, of course, so playing against AI is the best bet, unless you use a custom multiplayer client. But yeah, creature training is key to surviving the later parts of the game, and thankfully they do have a separate moral alignment from yours, so they can go around being a jerk while you play a pacifist or vice versa. Powerful stuff when used to your advantage. This also means that you'll likely attract the attention of other gods and their creatures, which can lead to a battle. Unfortunately, actually controlling fights is not very engaging. It's less direct and more like you're coaching from the sidelines, clicking nearby to say when to attack, dodge, and defend. You can also perform a couple of miracles to help turn the tide, but the delayed actions and camera swooping around the action makes this difficult, especially since these miracles rely on gestures. Oh yeah, that's a thing. Performing miracles means performing gestures, accomplished by drawing shapes on the ground with the mouse. Again, eschewing keyboard usage in menu systems, miracles are selected either by clicking miracle generators or by drawing their symbol. And, well, it kinda works. Most of the shapes are easily repeated, but some of them are strangely picky with how they're drawn, so it's far easier to navigate back into town to choose them directly. As for gaining miracle access to begin with, there are 2 main methods of doing that. Raising this statue in your village center will ring bells telling your villagers it's time to worship, and a percentage of them will follow suit depending on how high you raise it. This causes a big ol' worship party outside your temple, continuing until you call it off. Meaning villagers can pray themselves to death if you're not paying attention, but yeah, each village provides access to specific miracles, so the more villages you have, the more miracles you can perform. And the longer villagers worship, the more prayer power you have to perform miracles. Or you can instead drop living sacrifices onto the altar, with older villagers providing a little power, and the youngest ones being the most effective. So, killing babies, it's a legit strategy. The other method of miracle making is completely untied to belief and results from bursting these one-shot miracle bubbles to provide access to a single instance of said miracle. Simple, straightforward, no need for infanticide, and absolutely necessary on the later maps. Now, while there are only 5 maps and the first one is an absolute breeze to play, don't be fooled by the false sense of security. Black and White soon stops playing around, and before you know it, you're being struck down by far older, angrier, and more powerful gods than you. That first island map is seriously just a tutorial. Even after it appears, the tutorial's ended. Map 2 is where the game first opens up and has you making real choices, like creating new buildings by constructing wooden scaffolding, combining them up to 7 times, and plopping them down wherever you like. This is also where you have to start worrying about villager desires, like offspring, civic buildings, and general expansion, and silver scrolls start becoming more important, providing opportunities to earn vital resources and miracles that'll make completing the current map more feasible. And then there's Map 3, which is where Black and White finally starts to get real. A rival god captures your creature and tosses you onto an uninhabited section of the map with almost nothing, whereas he already has a temple and multiple thriving villages that are quickly taking over everything. And each time you take over one of those villages, you're smited with some kind of disaster, like humans he sets on fire that frantically run towards your own tinderbox of a village, and a bloodthirsty wolf pack darting towards your followers ready for an easy meal. Eventually you reach level 4, where the island's cursed by constant thunderstorms and fireballs, and the sky is blood red, making everyone depressed and oh god. Anyway, yeah, by the time I reached the 5th and final level, I was more than ready for the game to just end. But not Lionhead. Before its eventual sequel came along, they released the Creature Isle expansion pack in January of 2002. And it's kind of an odd choice for an expansion, but at this point I'd expect nothing less from this odd game. Instead of providing a new campaign or something, it instead focuses on expanding creature options, taking place entirely on the new map of Creature Isle. New creatures are introduced, including a chicken, a crocodile, and a rhinoceros. And there's a number of new additions related to creature raising, the central goal of completing a sequence of trials for a group of former godly minions called the Brotherhood of Creatures. You know, it's fun enough, it's fine, but something I can go without. Not that I don't recommend it at all, only that I find its new additions to be skippable in the grand scheme of things. And there you have it, that's Black and White. An enchanting experience that I find equal parts fascinating and frustrating. Awesome and awkward, impressive and imperfect. It sure is a Peter Molyneux game, maybe the Molyneuxest game of them all.
I love this stuff. It's really fun to like build your own city. I will say that.
Deja de alquilar tu electricidad, sé su dueño. Aprovecha el poder del sol y ahorra hasta el 95% de tus gastos.
Usually when I play this game, I do play as a good god, and it's just fun to make different cities. You can build different attractions, statues. You can really like map out a cool city, and you'll see other territories. If you're playing as a good god, other towns will want to join your town because it looks so great.
Alright, chat, I'm just taking a quick break.
Hold down the action button and drag to
blades.
I know what to do.
I'll get back to drawing.
Shut up. Like you build all different districts, you can drag out the roads. It's really
Black
fun.
and White 2
It's really
is
fun
also
to
looking
build
pretty
towns in
good.
This game, it was really well done. I'd love to see another shot at the Black and White series. I think it still has a lot of potential. It's just fun. Like I can have a housing estate here or something like that. I'm just a god who's building council housing. I'm better than the government.
We can also create some disciple builders to help with our city building.
Can I do quick building? They're useless. Oh, they're just gonna start building themselves. Oh, this game has a lot of dynamics to it. There's a lot of like fun little details about this game.
Drop the person by a building.
Here, I'm gonna make you a breeder. Have fun.
It's not a disciple builder.
I know, but it rhymes. Hey, they built a house.
And look how delighted the villagers are.
They have one house to share between how many of them? They have one house to share between all 34 of them. Yeah, have fun. They're delighted. I like how the villagers just make themselves useful if they're not doing anything. Oh, I love that detail. Okay, can I actually construct the house myself? You get a tutorial about this at some point. It doesn't even let you do it. You can build the houses faster yourself because of course you can. Well, they're building the houses kind of quick. The villagers are kind of useful. They have their use. Sort of. This guy is just still wallowing. There's nice rocks to look at. There's wood over there. There's not more I can do for you, bud, you know. They're building their own lamps and everything. So at night that should look
look, a
good.
thorn
I love the
more.
little details. It's so fun. I just need to wait for him to build. Okay.
Disciple builder.
If I make you builders, does that make you do it faster? Maybe?
Disciple builder.
And now we just wait. You can zoom out really far and you can hear the wind. Oh yeah, you can also like, you can click on the sky to change the time of day. It's really nice. It doesn't advance building or crops any quicker. At least I don't think so. Make it daytime. That didn't change anything. Make it night. Oh, you can change it so that, oh, they're up at this time and they start working. Oh, because if it's night time, they go to bed. I want to test this. So are they all going to go to bed now? I'm trying to move the mouse. It's weird in a circle. Are they all just going to go to sleep? Some of them are still building. Yeah, I think they're all going to go to bed.
You can also help to build buildings yourself.
There we go, thank you.
This is God building. Yes, you do it by picking up resources the building needs.
This is all you need to do in the game.
This is very useful, but you do lose some of the resource in the process.
Oh, I forgot you lose a bit of it too, yeah, so you can get your villagers to do it and they are more effective. Okay, villagers are more useful than I thought. I was running my mouth like the Let's Player I am and not listening, like any true Let's Player does, to be fair. I mean, if it's something like Ord then maybe you should get your villagers to do it, because you don't want to lose ore since it's kind of finite. But if it's trees and stuff, you can just build it yourself. Or you can just take from the storehouse here. You can steal all the villagers' hard work. Man, this game's great. I hope you're all enjoying me coming back to Black and White 2. I don't know how well this video will do, but I think it's fun. I love this game.
We must get the people to multiply. Oh dear, it's embarrassing.
And build an army to destroy the world.
He's talking about breeding! Breeding, boy!
He's humping buildings on my camera.
We need 3 breeder disciples to satisfy the village's needs.
Satisfy him.
Drop a man or woman from your hand next to one of the opposite sex.
Okay.
Breeders will continue.
I did it. Oh, he's a forester. Okay. Does that mean all gay men are just lumberjacks? So in that case, this guy's very sad. I'm gonna give him a girlfriend. There you go. Have fun. Oh, he's delighted. He's happy. Oh, and she's just gonna walk away to work. Well, alright, bye now. I'll leave you to it, but he's a breeder and he can't even attract anyone. She's just gonna walk right through him. Oh, there he goes. I know what he got started. I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm not an education channel, you can fuck off. I'm not watching that. Oh, look, a monkey. Monkey's sleeping. He's having nice dreams. The creature's asleep. Let's not disturb him. Get up, you bastard. Get up. Wake up. Crap on villagers. Increase the population. Alright. I'm really gonna have to put my work into it. This is awkward. Stop being unhappy. Get a girlfriend. Get a boyfriend. There you go. We're building up a great society here. Someone just... what? Oh, she had a baby. I thought someone died. The pregnant women just walk around and then a baby just falls out of them. Or a full-grown child with clothing. That's scary. Alright, I'm not being evil enough. Can I throw you into the water? I'm going to aim for the water and see if I can throw this guy in. You kind of have to have a bit of momentum. You can't also throw villagers outside of the area of influence. You have to stay within this green ring. 3, 2, 1. Go, come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, you just missed it. Oh, he's still alive. Well, you can make the arduous journey all the way back. I can't grab any trees or items outside of my influence. We're going to do this. I'm going to get someone into the water. I'm not going to throw the pregnant woman. Oh, they just giving birth to babies on the floor. And they're just going to keep walking. They breed very quick. In like the space of a day, they bang and then they have a child. This is a terrifying society. Quicker than rabbits. Oh, I'm not going to throw the mothers. I'm not that evil. I'm terrible at being evil in games. I've just realized. Where's the closest water? I guess it's this area, kind of. Alright, we're gonna go in. What if I get a lead up like that? Come on. Oh, you can still see the fella walking back. I think that's a new record. I'm surprised they're not dying. Okay, we're gonna try the rock now this time. And I'm gonna aim for the villagers. I just booted out. I'm being mean to these fellas in particular. It's like bowling. This is what Wii Sports is based off of. Hit him! Oh, the rock's too big. Alright, where's the smaller one? We're gonna do this. Also, if armies invade, you can also just throw big rocks on top of the armies, and it's great. It's really fun. Okay. Oh. Hit him. Oh, I have terrible reach.
That's not right. The green
oh, not too fair. See the way the ring of influence kind of stops you, and he's gonna keep talking.
Ring, you see,
oh, it's so annoying. But if you're quick, you can actually kind of get it back. Like, there you go. See? I think that rock is too far away to do it, though. I'm gonna get these trees out of the way. So, like,
no, that's not right.
Yeah, it's too fair. I don't want to throw my ore rocks. Okay, we'll try this rock. We have one more chance at this. Okay, I'm gonna try and hit him. He's not too far away. I'm a terrible god. Oh, there we go, I got it. Just stand there, but oh, I got him. That's a new record. It only took me half an hour. Poor Kai, I just launched him out of the village and then I just threw him. Where's the other fella? Oh, there he is. Where are you going, pal? Oh, he's limping. Oh, no. I feel bad now. I don't believe anybody. This guy's so isolated. God threw him out of his village. I mean, where could you run? God is always going to find you. There's nowhere to run, pal. I'm sorry. What do the villagers want? I still need to breed them. More tutorials.
Right. Let's open the toolbar.
Fun.
See? There is a flag at the bottom left.
There we go.
That is the toolbar.
You can build things, you just click it and you can drag it out. I know how to do it. The tutorial does stop eventually once you get to the later lands, but it's a lot of hand holding. It's a bit annoying. It's the one bad thing about this game, I will say. It's so infuriating. I think with the patch I'm using, you can actually skip the intro land. But I haven't played this game in a while, so I guess the tutorial can be kind of useful.
Press F4 to bring up the tribute.
I thought he was going to tell me to press Alt F4, just leave, just get out. There we go, we can build a temple.
This is the coolest part of the menu.
I know what to do. I know. But you can't, like, advance it forward. You have to listen to their spiel. There's more voice acting in this game than feckin' Fallout 4. Jesus. Now they want the temple.
You can now build a temple.
So they can pray to me. Oh, big statue of a woman holding a child. That's great. If villagers want it really badly, you can just pick it up here and you can place it. Oh, I want to build a nice district. Oh, you can shake the mouse to get rid of something. I remember this. See, that's fun. I like that. This game is really involved. It still holds up great. I thought this game would have aged really badly, but no. Okay, I'm going to build a nice district for the temple. Like, here's how you extend your influence ring. This temple is going to look off. Whatever. Just build it at the top of the hill here.
Some buildings require ore to be built.
I know.
There are also ore rock.
I know ore, copy and age of empires. I get it. I'm going to build the building myself because the villagers are going to take 50 billion years to get out here. You can add the ore to the storehouse. You just pick up the rocks. It's probably better to get the villagers to pick it up, but I'm just going to do it now just for the sake of it, just to get through quick. Pick up all the ore, build a temple or stuff. I'm building a temple just to praise me and the most up my own ass god there ever is. To be fair, that kind of suits me as a god, so there's no surprise. Or you can just pick up the ore rock, and I think you can just do this anyway. Yeah, you can just do that.
Hold your hand over the temple.
Hold your hand is right.
Hold the action.
See, you build a temple outside the Ring of Influence and you get so much free area. There's a way to increase your influence. That was a huge bit of land that we now have available to us. I just have to breed more civilians. Great. This is awkward. Get to work. There, enjoy it. It's a fucking grand job. Better than mine. Enjoy yourself.
If you build a very impressive city, then people will come from far and wide to live in it. Civic buildings are a good way to increase impressiveness.
I don't want them.
Nobody gets hurt, and we get more followers, making us more powerful.
Oh, I don't want them. They build shite cities.
Look, those people are migrating. They want to live in our town. They're bringing all their...
That was a weird pose. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever stretch your legs out again. I almost saw up his toga. He looks more like Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses than he does the fucking uncle from Red Dead. Oh, I've brought this woman all the way outside here. Alright, they're gonna make their slow meandering way over. How am I God if I can only build in a small bit of land? Maybe that's how different religions work. You never know. There you go. Have fun. I need breeders. I need more civilians. Oh, we'll get a big boost in population anyway when these people join, so that's fun. That's something. I wish I could just grab them all and bring them over. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a nice big old rock to welcome our new villagers. Oh, I only have 4 rocks. Do I have any big rocks? Can I throw a tree at them? We're very eco-friendly. Oh, that one. Jeez, that one. Flying. Take it. Well, there's an old tree in their abandoned town. Can I actually hit him with a tree? Oh, that was a letdown. Come on, get out. I don't want you. Your towns suck. Get out. I'm not going to walk around it. I'm just throwing forests at them. Fuck off. God, I can...
2 tandas de ropa cubiertas de gérmenes y solo una será sanitizada. Añade Lysol Laundry Sanitizer y mata el 99.9% de las bacterias, algo que el detergente solo no hace. Limpio es bueno, sanitizado es mejor.
Our 5-door refrigerator.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna build the biggest fucking rainforest around them if I can. Just hit him once. Okay, well, it barely did anything. Do I have a big rock to fuck with him? Oh, just get in. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Enjoy your stay, I guess.
Thank you, Great One, for welcoming us into your magnificent town.
We're gonna have a great future. Don't you worry about that. I'm gonna get the pipelines built early. We're gonna get a head start. Okay, we can advance now. Let's keep going. Oh my good god now. Ah, fuck that. Here. I'm a bad god. There you go. See, I'm a prick. I'm an asshole. Good god, my fic. Well, enjoy your stay of doing absolutely nothing and waiting for me to do everything around you. Why do you need another storehouse? Stop complaining. You have plenty of food. Dad feed me for 2 days. You're grand. You have plenty of sustenance. They're just producing non-stop Weetabix. It's the only thing they know how to make because they just have wheat. And that's it. There's no alcohol in my perfect society. You can't drink your wheat. Sorry. Eat your Weetabix. I didn't know this was The Witcher 1. Oh. Well, it is Geralt of Rivia. All the children are clipping through. I thought Geralt couldn't have kids. Oh, he's just gonna walk away. She just kissed this man and then she walked away. Jesus, she's getting busy. Fick it. Fair play to her, I guess. Model citizens. Model citizens. Why can't you all be like that? Jesus, they actually are all like that. Fuck it. What's the next tutorial?
Armories are where you can turn your people into warriors.
Cool. This is your bad actions, building an army and take you over a town. It's really fun.
Select the armory from the construction menu.
Stop telling me what to do. See, it's just after a while it gets so handholdy. It's like the biggest criticism of this game, but if you are going to play it yourself, I implore you stick with it. They do lay off your back after a while. I'm going to build it next to the temple, just to send a message. An army next to the temple. We're building a corrupt society. I'm making Catholicism. Why is my creature disappointed? He's just like me. He's sleeping all day and doing absolutely nothing. He's quite literally my spirit animal. He kind of looks like me too.
Pick up one of the flags on the armory, then place it in the highlighted area.
There you go. Now all the men are going to run towards it. So any male civilian that doesn't have a job is going to run towards the army. They're all just going to run for the army. The society is so boring that being in the army and dying instantly is more interesting than staying here with your 2 houses and your temple. That's Temple Bar, no wonder it's so shite. We have 5 soldiers. Fair play to you. Hey, there we go. We have an army. They're tapping swords on our boots. Oh, they're useless. Oh, we're not going to get anywhere with these fellas.
Click on the flag with the move button.
Click on the flag with the PlayStation move button. Great. I want to play Wonder Book, whatever that magic game was. I want to go fucking attack the town over here. If you're playing this game, you can probably install the fan patches and just skip the tutorial. That's the only thing that has aged horribly. This game has like a lot of depth. I can understand them like giving tutorials on how to play, but there's so much hand-holding for even basic stuff that I imagine someone who has played an RTS before knows how to do.
This will order your troops to take over the...
Now we're doing some fighting. Oh, this is the fun part. I hope. It took me about 4 hours to get here. Now they make the arduous journey all the way over. Take over them.
Off we go!
So yeah, if you're good, build a nice town. If you're evil, take over everyone. I honestly think it's a little more interesting to like build a good town. It's like fun to just chill, build a town, but the thing is, armies are still going to attack you even if you're a good god. So you have to defend yourself, and it's useful to have armies for that use. But if you're just pure evil, then you'll have plenty of armies to defend yourself with. There's loads of ore there and everything. And if you take over this place, you get your own like influence ring. So you can like build a town here too if you want. Take over. Very interesting. There's no one here anyway, they've all fucked off. Wow, a town really worth taking over. Take your time. Oh, I love the slow monotonous timer. They're worshipping this building, they should be worshipping me. You can just rob your soldiers for doing a good job, fair play. You're doing great work. You can hear the screaming of the civilians that aren't here. I think the more units you have, the quicker you take it over. I think that's how it works anyway. Oh look, there's a rain cloud here, so when you zoom in, there's rain for this specific area. That's a cool detail. Oh, I like that too. Man, for the time, this game was brilliant. Even now, it's still fun to go back to. I love stupid little details like that. Like there's rain actually under the clouds when you're looking it over. Take over? More like take your feckin' time. Did you watch anything good over the weekend? Nah. Figured. Did you watch the Cowboy Bebop live action remake? I doubt it. It wasn't great. It wasn't great, I heard. There you go. They want Titanic woman lying down. Titanic's not going to come out for years. And they want big strong men too. Perfect society. We can build a storehouse, and there's the thing. So you can see the game's general feedback loop. I think I've shown a good amount of black and white too. I'm probably not going to get to showing my creature, but it was fun to play black and white too. Shut up. Shut up. I need to do an outro. Sorry monkey, we couldn't get to you. Maybe at some stage, maybe at some stage. Oh, there's the low FMV. Alright, they're gonna annoy me. So cheers all of you for coming out for Black and White 2. It was a fun video to do. And I'll talk to you in the next one. His hair is flowing in the wind. Great. Has he shut up yet? Have you shut up yet?
They go up to the next...
No, they have not. No, they have not.
Lays, patrocinador oficial de UEFA Champions League.
I love this stuff. It's really fun to like build your own city. I will say that usually when I play this game, I do play as a good god, and it's just fun to make different cities. You can build different attractions, statues. You can really like map out a cool city, and you'll see other territories. If you're playing as a good god, other towns will want to join your town because it looks so great. Or you can just be evil and take them over, but...
Hold down the action button and drag to get...
I know what to do. Shut up. Shut up. Like you build all different districts, you can drag out the roads. It's really fun. It's really fun to build a town in this game. It was really well done. I'd love to see another shot at the Black and White series. I think it still has a lot of potential. It's just fun. Like I can have a housing estate here or something like that. I'm just a god who's building council housing. I'm better than the government.
We can also create some disciple builders to help with our city building.
Can I do quick building? They're useless. Oh, they're just gonna start building themselves. Oh, this game has a lot of dynamics to it. There's a lot of like fun little details about this game.
Trophy person by a building
Here, I'm gonna make you a breeder. Have fun.
That's not a disciple builder.
I know, but it rhymes. Hey, they built a house.
And look how delighted the villagers are.
They have one house to share between how many of them? They have one house to share between all 34 of them. Yeah, have fun. They're delighted. I like how the villagers just make themselves useful if they're not doing anything. Oh, I love that detail. Okay, can I actually construct the house myself? You get a tutorial about this at some point. It doesn't even let you do it. You can build the houses faster yourself because of course you can. Well, they're building the houses kind of quick. The villagers are kind of useful. They have their use. Sort of. This guy is just still wallowing. There's nice rocks to look at. There's wood over there. There's not more I can do for you, bud, you know. They're building their own lamps and everything. So at night that should like light up. I love the little details. It's so fun. I just need to wait for him to build. Okay.
Disciple builder.
If I make... So how's it going, basement losers? I started calling my audience basement losers and they loved it. So we're gonna keep it going. We'll keep the trend going, lads. I hope you're having tea in your basement. So today we're gonna be checking out a mod that puts the entirety of Daggerfall into Skyrim. And I think this is a really, really cool idea for a mod. We're gonna check it out. Now the funny thing about this mod is that it's called, I think it's called like Skygerfall. So the reason it's called Skygerfall is because if you take Daggerfall and you take Skyrim and you put it together, you'll get Skyfall. And they can't call the mod Skyfall. I think you know why. I just thought that was funny. So anyway, we're going to jump right in. People have been wanting me to go back to Daggerfall. So here you go, lads. We're playing more Daggerfall. And immediately we're brought to the character creator. Now, I'm not going to spend too long making a character. I'm just going to pick an Argonian because I like Argonians. Probably my favorite Elder Scrolls race. The thing is, now that I've told people that's my favorite Elder Scrolls race, they're going to be like, wrong. Your personal preference is wrong. Can I choose a preset? Head, whatever. Man, I like the Argonian presets. We're gonna be this guy, because this guy looks unreal. This guy is gonna take on Daggerfall. I can make him really skinny. Oh man, I don't want to make him skinny. We're gonna make him a hefty lad. This is how I feel when I have 2 raw eggs. Just built. Let's give him some horns. He's a horny fecker. Anyway, let's just get going. Done, yeah, I guess. Finish and name. Yep, I'm just gonna name him after the band I've been listening to all day. So there we go. That's gonna be his name. Here's the Emperor. Here we are, privateers hold. We can leave. Can I just go? Maybe I don't want to talk to Patrick Stewart. Maybe I just want to leave. Alright. Why am I in chains? I'm wearing a wolf medallion. Lads, wrong franchise there. I thought we were like friends of the Emperor. Okay, I thought we were buddies. Let's just talk to him. You wish to see me?
Excuse the gloom, but none may know of this meeting. He was as loyal a subject, ally, and friend as you are.
Yeah, is that why you put me in chains?
But his spirit does not rest. With the spectral army, he haunts his former kingdom, crying for revenge.
If he died honorably, why is he seeking revenge?
I do not know why a good and loyal man would be so
that's the plot, Michael.
And close the marble jaws of oblivion.
Close the jaws of oblivion. He said the thing.
I ask this as your emperor and as your friend.
You're not my friend. You've seen that I'm an Argonian and you've just tied me up.
The letter was of a sentimental and personal nature. If you find and destroy that letter, I will be grateful.
Oh yeah, he also texted a girl on Tinder and he wants us to go and steal her phone before she can read the message.
Tomorrow, you sail for the kingdom of Daggerfall.
Cool.
I think we should explore a few...
Why is that block not working?
I'll take it. Give me some iron armor, iron boots. Yeah, I guess that's fine. He looks like he's at a funeral with his arm.
medieval man. I'm a medieval man. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Why do you keep touching me? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Why do you keep touching me? Welcome to the world of Warcraft.
Alright, I'm back, chat. Oh, there you are. Glad to see you here, voice. Sleep well.
More can be linked together by the procedurally generated dungeon algorithm, making each dungeon unique. Each one feels like there will be something different at every turn, albeit all with the same dark and grimy aesthetic, which combined with their Goliath sizes can make these things a bit of a chore to fully explore. An auto-generated 3D map is given to you to help you traverse these mazes, and while it may not look like it would help much at first glance, when you realize that these dungeons can be 10 plus floors tall, you soon realize that a map like this is really the only way they could give the player this information. The map helps, and teleportation spells soon become invaluable in finding the exit, and due to their random nature, especially when it comes to their loot, unlike in Morrowind, Oblivion and Skyrim, you need not worry about missing a special hidden piece of treasure if you don't fully explore them. Instead, you can concentrate on completing whatever quest or goal brought you there, and then focus on getting the hell out. Because of their size, I think it's recommended that you don't try to fully explore these. In this next section, I will be referring to the dungeons as being randomly generated. I want to make it clear that this isn't done on the player's end, but instead was done in Bethesda's offices 25 years ago. So each dungeon the player visits has a unique seed from which they are then procedurally generated from. This may all sound confusing, but basically it means that on multiple playthroughs you can slowly start to learn the layouts of the dungeons, as they will be the same on each playthrough. But as they were originally randomly generated during their creation, all the flaws I mentioned relating to this still stand. The randomly generated dungeons can be dauntingly large at first glance, growing to seemingly endless limits. And the handcrafted dungeons, such as Privateer's Hold here, don't skimp on the size either, often mixing in complex puzzles that I have no shame in admitting that I needed more than a few online walkthroughs to help me figure out. Due to the random nature of their creation, all the non-story dungeons can be susceptible to areas that can be difficult or even impossible to reach, between broken puzzles, hidden doorways, or areas requiring water breathing or levitation to even hope of reaching. Another problem is the monotony of them all. Sure, there are different wall textures, but other than the rare pieces of open geometry, they can be painfully boring, lacking the clutter and objects that help to bring dungeons to life in the later games. I will say that the story dungeons actually fare better in this regard, regularly containing rooms that you would expect in their environments, including bedrooms, broom closets, and demonic ritual areas. With all that said, honestly, dungeons can be too big and frustrating for their own good. Personally, I recommend using the smaller dungeon option in the Unity version of the game. This makes them much less intimidating and frankly more fun. It turns a 2-hour-long dungeon slog into a short 20-minute adventure, which actually promotes exploration in my opinion, as you're no longer worrying about whether you're heading in the completely wrong direction and wasting your time. I will say, while the story dungeons can also be very large, because of their handcrafted nature, they are far more fun to explore and complete. On to combat, and I'll say it can feel clumsy at first. The system is entirely dice roll based, with the animated enemy attacks and your weapon swings being simple visual indicators and nothing more. While it may look like your sword just cleaved that guy's head off, if the game instead plays a whooshing noise, then sorry, but you missed. If you've played Morrowind before, then you're already used to this, and as I said verbatim in my retrospective for that game, just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. It serves its purpose perfectly and lends itself to the player's feeling of progression. As you level up your combat skills, you will hit more and more often, making the game feel more responsive and fluid as your character gains fighting experience. This applies to blocking and dodging too. It may feel like that dodge skill was a bad investment at first because of how little it seems to work, but as you progress, you will find enemies find it harder and harder to successfully hit you. The combat also uses a method of control that isn't seen too often nowadays, with your weapon of choice being controlled by a swing of your mouse. These wavy mouse controls can feel cumbersome at first, but seeing as games like Mountain Blade, Kingdom Come Deliverance, and Chivalry still use systems similar to the one implemented here, it isn't really fair to say that it's outdated per se. Although I myself turned it off in the Unity settings to make the game feel a bit closer to the later games in the series. I'm gonna be straight with anyone here who hasn't played Daggerfall yet, you will die a lot at first. Saving is essential with this game's high learning curve and lack of any in-game adjustable difficulty setting. The quick save and quick load keys will become your bread and butter. You see a door, you quick save. You turn a corner, you quick save. Are you gonna take a jump? Quick save. You get the gist. If you're not saving every 5 to 10 minutes out of fear, you're doing something wrong. Daggerfall is notorious for being difficult, and this can sometimes even sound like an understatement. With its moving platforms, switches, twists, turns, and enemies lurking out of sight, Daggerfall's sense of danger is unparalleled in the Elder Scrolls series, only matched by its prequel in Arena. Even while travelling in the wilderness, you may be stopped to be interrupted by a variety of beasts, including bears, centaurs, spriggans, and even the fearsome dragonlin. There is a vast amount of diverse enemies, some that will be familiar to the newer fans, and some that are not. The Daedra in particular have a completely unique roster to what fans may be used to. And as I'm sure we've all come to realise with the success of the Dark Souls series, difficulty doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's harder than Skyrim or Oblivion. But once you get used to it, you'll be right at home killing everything that comes across your path. As you make your way through this first dungeon, slowly learning the quirks and controls of this classic, it is likely that you will level up. Later becoming a defining system within the franchise, Daggerfall introduced a complete leveling overhaul over the standard experience-based system from Arena. Rather than gaining a new level and speccing into your skills from there, you instead level up your skills by actually using them, like real life in a way. If you swing a sword enough times, you'll eventually get better at swinging said sword. Once a certain amount of these skills have improved, you level your main level upon resting and then earn several points to bolster your attributes. If you've played Morrowind or Oblivion, you should feel right at home with this system. One thing to keep in mind is that in Daggerfall you cannot master every skill. Instead, you are limited to having only one skill at 100% level. All the other ones will eventually max out at 95%. While this leveling system isn't anything new by today's standards, at the time I'm sure it must have breathed a breath of fresh air into the RPG scene, when experience bars would have been dime a dozen. Finally, after battling our way to the surface, we can exit Privateer's Hold and find ourselves into the beautiful tundra of Daggerfall province during the winter months. From here, we are free to do anything. It brings a great sense of discovery. This is what ties all Bethesda games together, and Daggerfall is no different. While every player completes the same first dungeon, after that, the rest is completely up to them. There is an enormous number of paths for the player to go. Once you finally reach the end of the starting dungeon, the game proper opens up. And boy oh boy, do I mean opens up. Daggerfall is the closest the Elder Scrolls ever got to true medieval fantasy life simulation. Run for hundreds of miles just to see what you come across. Find a town and sell all of your loot and buy yourself a big old cart, and now you can carry even more loot. Join a guild or a temple or even a knightly order. Complete quests, earn money, buy better gear, learn spells, create your own spells, enchant your gear, talk to kings and queens, or seek to fulfill your psychopathic tendencies and murder the local populace, and then join the Dark Brotherhood to make it legit. If murder's not your thing, why not become a kleptomaniac and make your money the nefarious way with the Thieves Guild? Are you being chased by the local guards? Well, it's time to do a Ubisoft and climb some walls and jump across some rooftops. If you're more of the magical sort, why not levitate the vast heights, then realize you forgot your horse, so why not take them with you too? Stash your 200 kilograms of gold into the bank and consider buying a house, only to realize that the Iliac Bay has one hell of a housing crisis going on, so why not take out a loan? Sure, if you don't pay it back, they'll send out the loan sharks after you, but that doesn't matter, because you used the money to buy a boat, and I highly doubt the Empire is funding an extensive coast guard. Yeah, the level of freedom Daggerfall offers is a breath of fresh air compared to the increasingly linear and streamlined RPGs in the last 10 years. And this is only scratching the surface of what you can do. If the modern Elder Scrolls game is an action RPG with fantasy life simulator elements, then Daggerfall is a fantasy life simulator with action RPG elements. Thanks goes to LGR for that perfect analogy. This may be daunting for some people, but as someone who started this wonderful series with Morrowind and always dreamed of a deeper system for truly living in the world of Vvardenfell, I love the freedom Daggerfall offers in this regard. You can stroll along the vast streets of a city, talk to the locals, visit a tavern, drink all the mead you can handle, and take a quest from a fellow to find a lost item deep in a cave. And that is as legitimate a playstyle as making a beeline for the main quest or joining a guild. Regarding that main quest, Daggerfall has so many different activities for the player to do that the main quest actually comes to you, rather than you to it. After a few in-game months of learning and getting accustomed to this new world you have found yourself in, you will be presented with a letter snuck onto your person. If you reply to this letter, then the main quest has begun, and you have begun fulfilling your duties to the Emperor. But what if you don't want to? Maybe after that life-threatening storm you've decided to sod Uriel and all these missions he keeps sending you on. Well, that's fine, you need not worry about it. If you want to abandon it to live your life on your own terms, then you are free to do so. No threats of the Gates of Oblivion, nor the return of deadly dragons. Daggerfall gives you so many options that it's almost impossible not to find something to do. It reminds me a lot of a saying I've heard about Minecraft. If you can't find something to do, it's because you lack imagination. And I feel that really applies here too. Between the multiple guilds, the main story, the endless amount of dungeons, Daedric quests and countless Radiant missions, you're never lacking content or direction, you need only luck for it. I will say in the first 5 hours, it's common to feel completely overwhelmed with everything you can do. Hell, in my first ever playthrough years ago, I spent nearly 2 hours just in that first dungeon. Fortunately, compared to Arena, Daggerfall offers quite a bit of quality of life improvements. For example, on the local map, guilds, shops and taverns are now color coded, helping you to quickly identify where you want to go in these massive cities. And if you do get lost, asking citizens for directions is simple, although being a life sim, not everyone is helpful. Depending on your reputation, they may be downright rude to you. But don't worry too much, getting lost is part of the experience, especially when you consider that there are nearly 15,000 locations comprised of towns, cities, temples, farmsteads, inns and dungeons, and just like in real life, not all of them are important. In an Elder Scrolls First, the scale of the world makes sense. Oh look, is that the Imperial City, capital of the Tamrielic Empire, most important hub of trade and politics for the whole continent? Population 194. This is Daggerfall City, capital of this tiny but still important province. Population around 2,000. And it feels like it. Masses of NPCs walking the streets, homes stretching as far as the eye can see, and the maps show the true extent of this. Look at this, and now look at this. Don't even get me started on Whiterun. Yes, I know the modern games are simply meant to be representative of the real locations, but in Daggerfall, these feel like the real locations in all their glory, scope and scale, not just a limited view of reality. Well, except for the fact that the cities are all very, very flat, an unfortunate problem with the procedurally generated manner in which the cities are made. And of course I do understand it's the modern technological advancements in graphics that make these limitations a thing. What makes this series so great is the seductive love of losing oneself in a vast open world, where you can live another life and explore it all, traveling to other countries for a fresh change of scenery, or making a mistake in one place and having to flee to a new town so as to escape the law. Much like a modern Bethesda game, the world is perfectly primed for the player to create a near endless amount of their own little stories. Small experiences unique to them, whether it was getting caught and successfully blagging your way out of court, or setting off on what should be a basic quest, only for it to be far more than you bargained for. The world has a great way of feeling far bigger than you, full of secrets that you would never discover. This humongous world with its limitless gameplay options helps to leave an impression that in some ways its smaller but better received sequels have never made sense. For the longest time, Daggerfall held the Guinness World Record for the largest single-player world ever developed, featuring vast terrain including mountains, forests, plains, tundra, deserts, islands, open ocean, and tranquil bays. It's difficult to truly grasp how immersive the world feels until you actually play the game. Just looking at it here, it may just look like an outdated 3D world. But when you're there, completing quests, really living the life of an adventurer in High Rock and Hammerfell, it pulls you in only as an Elder Scrolls game can. Sure, you need some rose-tinted glasses to look past most of the limitations of a game designed in 1996, but a lot of features are so unique to Daggerfall that they don't feel as old as you might think. One aspect that hasn't aged a day is the ambience, a word that Indigo Gaming used beautifully to summarize what makes Daggerfall feel so cozy to play. By the way, he has some great videos on this game, so go check them out. But I'll paraphrase the key points regarding ambience here. There is always a sense of fable and imagination surrounding every location you find yourself in. The same classic medieval fantasy feel one evokes when playing a tabletop game of Dungeons & Dragons or when watching a classic like Excalibur or Henry V. From peaceful farms to ghostly witches' covens, Daggerfall's sense of both visual and audio ambience instantly transports you to its world, immersing you into an environment that on the surface level shouldn't be able to. Graphically, the game cannot even compare to 2002's Morrowind, never mind Oblivion or Skyrim, yet its atmosphere can pull you in just as well as those titles. If Bethesda has one talent that bands all of their fan-favourite releases together, it would be their mastery over ambience and atmosphere when it comes to world design. Don't think you're only limited to playing in your human or elven form, however. As a series first, you can also contract various life-altering diseases that give you unique powers and abilities. Of course, this is vampirism and lycanthropy, as seen in Morrowind and Skyrim, but there's one more in Daggerfall too, where you can become a wereball. These three forms are the ultimate mode of role-playing, as they come with some very heavy disadvantages with only a few advantages. Luckily, there is a cure for all three of them, so if you are unfortunate enough to find yourself succumbing to the diseases, you need not worry about a ruined playthrough. Vampires even come with unique bloodlines and quests tied to them, a style of play that was expanded upon in Morrowind, but then sadly abandoned after that. For the lore fans out there, Kirsin, the Daedric Prince, can bestow upon you his unique ring, giving you the power to transform into a werewolf at your own discretion, which brings us on to the Daedric Artifacts. These were already a thing in Arena, but now they have more lore attached to them and they're tied to unique Daedric quests, a format that has stuck with the series since. These artifacts vary from deadly weapons to books that can instantly improve your stats. Summoning said princes requires the player to discover hidden covens of witches, or contact the various guild-specific summoning experts, but you must do it on a certain day, for the Daedric Lords are very particular about when they may be summoned to the mortal realm. Later in this analysis, I will be taking a deeper look into these quests as well as the various factions and guilds of the Iliac Bay. The only downside, or upside depending on how you see it, is that this game does demand a lot of your time. A normal playthrough can easily rack up over 50 to 100 hours, especially if you're keen to advance through the guilds. This may not sound like a lot to many of you, but it is something to still keep in mind. One thing is for sure though, gamers in 1996 were definitely getting their money's worth in terms of replayability. I've made it clear how massive this world is, so of course a fast travel system is essential, and even this is much deeper compared to the later games. On the surface, it works like Oblivion's or Skyrim's, but includes some mechanics to bolster the roleplay elements. No longer are you teleporting
welcome,
some
chats.
unknown amount of time passing. Instead, you know exactly how long and how expensive each trip is, with variables allowing you to change this. Traveling recklessly is faster, but you won't heal your health, magicka or stamina as you do so. Staying in inns is more expensive, but does allow that passive healing, and you will be ambushed by the monsters during your trip that may take a fancy at your juicy
You got
flesh
3
if
people
you were
from
to risk
YouTube
camping
and 1
in the
from
wild.
Twitch.
And traveling by land or ship
So,
will
feel free to
drastically
chat.
change the length of your journey. If you're traveling to Sentinel from Daggerfall, for example, it is far faster to sail over the ocean as the crow flies than it is to take a month-long trip around the coastline on foot. This isn't just window dressing either, as most quests will be time sensitive, with limits ranging from a few days to an entire year. So you need to take your travel time into account, or you may just find yourself completing a quest and travelling back to claim your reward, only to arrive too late and instead miss out on that sweet, sweet money. This may all sound great, but there is one main side effect of this staggering amount of content by even today's standards, and that is that a large bulk of this world was made possible through procedural generation, leading it to feel generic and empty outside of those key locations dotted on your map. This is especially true when you compare it to the smaller scale sequels. Unity mods have gone a long way in addressing these issues, with modifications like warm ashes, rural roads and faster real-time travelling making traversing in this massive world a more modern and interesting affair than the fast travel system the vanilla game released with. It was in part this procedural generation that would go on to cause a rift within Bethesda, with some of Daggerfall's developers wanting the series to become more roguelike in nature, capitalizing further on the more advanced procedural generation algorithms and their limitless quest systems. After some internal staff movements and the departure of key members from the Daggerfall team, Bethesda instead focused on smaller, static worlds, with more time spent on finessing the quests and the stories to be told within said world. This led us of course to Morrowind and the template for every Bethesda game after 2002. And while my love for Morrowind is as strong as for Daggerfall, I wish Ted Peterson, Julian Lefay and Eric Heberling all the best with their new project, The Wayward Realms. I for one am very excited to see what they have in store for us. You can keep updated with that particular project through their YouTube channel and various social medias. I'll leave a link to that in this video's description. In this part, we're going to be taking a deeper look into the factions, guilds and the non-story related quests that Daggerfall has to offer. And let me tell you, there are a ton of them. Like any Elder Scrolls you may be familiar with, quests are a big part of Daggerfall, and outside of dungeon crawling, I would say they are the biggest part. And seeing as a large amount of the quests lead to a dungeon, you could argue that they are one and the same, but stop right there, that is actually a misconception made by some people. Just like in Arena, many of the quests don't require leaving town whatsoever, instead offering a respite from the action and some solace for the weaker character builds. These quests are varied in form, content and complexity and can be sorted into several different types of objectives and styles of adventure they will take you on. Besides the major storyline quests, all quests in Daggerfall, except a very select few, use random generation to vary where the player may have to go, who they may have to find, or what they may be looking for. A modern example of these would be the endgame Radiant quests in Skyrim, although Daggerfall offers a far larger pool of these quests to choose from, and with more varied objectives than the offering from that game. In total, without any quest mods installed, vanilla Daggerfall comes with 227 distinct quests, a pretty hefty number, even when compared to a modern Elder Scrolls game. They are available from several sources and differ wildly in tone, style and time required to complete them. The main sources of these quests will be from the various guilds and factions in the game. In general, the objectives of the quests will reflect the interest and goals of the quest giver. The overall loop is the same as pretty much any RPG ever, but in Daggerfall there are a few more fail states than you may be used to. The majority go like this. Find an NPC with a quest. Accept said quest, travel to the required location, complete the objective, and then return to the NPC for your award. You can fail at almost every stage of this. Perhaps you waited too long or traveled too slowly, and now the quest has run out of time, making the travelling worthless and costly. Perhaps the objective is too well defended, or, if you're seriously unlucky, placed in an area you are simply too low level to access. The quest timer may even run out on your way back to the original quest giver. Now that one really hurts. Some quests even have faction disputes built into them. Perhaps you have been tasked with protecting and escorting an NPC on behalf of the Fighters Guild, but during your mission, some alleged members of the Bank of Daggerfall stop you with a warrant, offering you gold to give the NPC to them. Accept their offer and you will have earned more gold, but will have sacrificed your reputation within the guild, even risking being excommunicated altogether. If you decline the thug's offer, however, they will attack, and with greater numbers, possibly killing a weaker character build. Essentially, while quests may be simple on the surface, it's these little stories and flavour thrown into the gameplay that helps to keep them diverse. Especially if you're already in that imaginative headspace needed to build upon in this D&D inspired lifesim. Some quests can even be completed in multiple ways, given more choice and role-playing options than you may expect for such a retro title. Whenever the player engages in a quest for any faction, reputation with that faction is impacted. What is less obvious is the impact various quests may have on reputation with other factions. Quests accepted from upper-class nobles, for example, often involve illegal smuggling, which adversely affects the player's reputation with the Thieves Guild, who want all illegal activities to go directly through them. This means the player has to be careful with accepting certain jobs, so as not to step on the toes of a guild they may already be a part of. Often, quests will require you to find the location of a particular person. Oh, and by the way, now would be a good time to mention that there is, of course, no quest markers in Daggerfall. Morrowind fans can rejoice. All quests are logged in your quest log scroll, aka your journal. Ironically though, you won't have any obscure directions asking you to turn right after the third rock. You see, instead, the instructions you are given are far more literal. Go to this town and find this person. Okay, first thing, let's travel to that town. Well, it looks like hundreds of people live here. How am I going to find this one person? By asking the locals, of course. And yep, you've guessed it, not everyone will know who they are. I mean, that makes sense, right? This is one of those life sim elements of Daggerfall popping up once again. Not everyone can help you, so ask around. Eventually, someone will know the guy you're looking for. Most will give you a vague direction of where that house is, but if you press them enough, and by that I mean repeatedly yell the question at their face, then they may eventually mark the house on your map, making your life a little bit easier. Just don't think about how terrified that NPC must be of you now. Before I go into the guild system, I may as well explain each type of quest you can find in Daggerfall, and contrary to some beliefs I've seen spouted online, there are more quest types than many think. I've seen some say most quests are just fetch quests, but they are more nuanced than just that. There are rescue quests that require the player to find and save an innocent NPC. These are usually given by noble or merchant characters. The story goes that a faction in the game has taken a hostage, and you, being a valiant adventurer, are just the person needed to go and save them. These quests involve gathering information, tracking down leads, and then venturing forth to the final confrontation. You gather the information by asking around town. It's here that speccing into streetwise or other such dialogue-based skills will become handy. At the confrontation stage, the player is usually offered a choice: ransom or fight. Opponents at this stage are usually humans and are generally about the same level as the character. Think barbarians, knights, archers, etc. This type of quest poses a hidden danger though. Success often means a drop in reputation with the faction that had taken the hostage, normally the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood. A character that belongs to either of these guilds can lose enough reputation that they may even be expelled from them. An expulsion from either one of these is permanent. Then there's the arena style of quest, where the hero of Daggerfall becomes a postman. Hey, I didn't say every quest was revolutionary. These delivery quests are often given by nobles and the Thieves Guild. The player has to take item A to person B and then collect the reward. Sometimes this is spiced up by having the player go get the item themselves, or having enemies trying to intercept the delivery and kill you. Most of these quests can be considered as smuggling operations, hence the Thieves Guild's interest. If you're lucky, trouble can be avoided by moving quickly. The enemies spawn slowly and can often be outrun. If the quest does come from the Thieves Guild itself, you should avoid city guards as they may intercept you.
His personality is very loving, very supportive. He's one of the most caring children ever.
Railways are a great way of moving things around, be it people, freight, or the post. Most railways run a mix of passenger trains and goods trains on the same tracks, but some railways...
It's fairly late here, so I'm just gonna end the stream here. It's around 2 p.m. right where I am, so I'm just gonna relax and do some stuff. Might post something on Twitter, so later. Anyway, thanks Joey, thanks everyone for participating, and thank you Mary for donating.